What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Another Thursday, another episode of Simply Sessions. We've got Nico waiting in the wings to bring us the latest and greatest in the Bitcoin news space. We're going to be talking tech updates as well. And apologies, I've been a little absent the past week or so because I've been in Madeira. It was amazing for Bitcoin Atlantis. Plenty to chat about there. But it was a great time. I had a blast, and holy hell, is it beautiful there? I gotta say, I will be returning. But nonetheless, of course, this is live. Anything can happen. So I defer to my friend Bill here.
Live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
If you haven't already, please do like, subscribe, share, all those things. Help get this content in front of more eyeballs. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your Simply Session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.
And before we bring in Nico, let's take a look at where we are in the market right now. I am currently pulling up timechaincalendar.com, and simultaneously I'm bringing up the live chat. Everything you say in the chat from here on in will be live for the world to see, for better or worse. Back to timechaincalendar.com. We're sitting at $67,226 per coin, a little bit, just a tiny bit higher than the last time I did this. Just a smidge. A single US dollar will pick you up 1,488 sats. Also, I gotta do this right now, but just can we just take a look at where the Canadian moose shekel is at? Because it's 90,000 Canadian dollars for one Bitcoin, and we're eking closer and closer to 3-digit prices in terms of what a Canadian moose shekel will buy you. Will be sub 1,000 sats for a single dollar in Canada soon. So just wanted to share that with you, what it's like north of the ice wall here. Shout out to, well, I guess first my website. If you guys are sorting through the tutorials on the channel, you're having some difficulty, maybe you need a little bit of additional assistance, you can reach out to me at my website, btcsessions.ca, where you can book me for private one-on-one educational sessions for whatever you need, hardware, multi-sig, privacy, all that stuff. You can reach out to me right there. Shout out to sponsors of the show, hodlhodl.com. If you're buying Bitcoin and you have some priorities in mind that include peer-to-peer trading, instant self-custody, and no KYC, this is a great place to be. You can just sign up with a single email address, no need for ID in any form. Once you're in there, you choose your currency, your payment method, and an amount, and you can start viewing your offers immediately. They also have peer-to-peer lending with no rehypothecation, so be sure to check them out. Of course, CoinKite, you're going to want to secure your Bitcoin with some of the best hardware on the market. The Cold Card Q is now in my hands. I've done a couple of videos on it with some of the new features. I will be covering the QR method soon, so you can check that out. You can also pick up plenty of their other goodies over on their website, coinkite.com. You can use code BTC Sessions for a nice discount off everything at checkout. Now, backups are important as well. Seedor has an awesome solution with their disc and capsule design. This is one of the most robust and beautifully designed steel backup options on the market for your seed. It comes with everything you need to stamp your seed, and perhaps 2 or 3 or more. If you want to add discs and capsules, you can head over to seedor.io. You can check out my video on them, and there's also links depending on your shipping options for the cheapest options for you down below. Nunchuck has you covered for your assisted multi-sig needs. Basically what this is you can set up a full multi-sig quorum on your mobile device with plenty of different hardware options like the tap signer, the cold card, and plenty of other options out there. I've done videos on this. Once you're all set up, you got a multi-sig wallet, which has baked in inheritance planning so that your sats get to your next of kin if anything should happen to you. And the whole thing can be done without KYC. You don't need to give them their private information to set it up and have it work for you. And Last shout out, Start9, your sovereign computing solution. These guys do plug and play devices to host not only your Bitcoin, but your digital life. You can run things like your Bitcoin node, your Lightning node, mempool.space, join market, files, passwords, photos, Nostr relays and clients, AI tools, all kinds of great stuff. And you can do it from your own personal server at home. They have devices ranging from entry level all the way up to what I'm running, which is the Start9 Server Pure. You can check them out at start9.com. And if you're looking for that high-end device, you can use my code BTC Sessions with a plus sign at the end. That'll get you 18% off. Anyways, with that, enough of my rambling. Let's get Nico in here and let's start chatting about what's been going on. Dude, welcome. How you doing, man?
Yo, they completely destroyed my internet today while they were fixing the house next to me. So it's going to be a little bit bumpy. I hope you can hear me. Yeah, my data was awesome, man. I'm glad that we got to touch tips over the Atlantic.
It was a great time. I'm really glad that we briefly saw each other there. I was working like crazy. I was busy, but it was a blast. But I know that you were in and out of town really fast. You know, new family members to attend to, of course. But I hope you had a good time there. I know we've got a delay between us, so I want to get it all out at the same time. But I got to show you a little bit of a surprise here that I'm very excited to come home to. But this isn't just to show Nico, but also for everybody watching. Thank you for making this a thing. This is my YouTube plaque, and this is my 100,000 subscriber celebration. So everybody that made this possible, thank you guys so much. 8 years to get this on the shelf. So thank you guys. Very excited about it. This is I'm going to cherish this. So thank you guys. Anyways, Nico, I'm going to toss it to you because I know that we got a delay here and I don't want to have it be too weird. But yeah, I'll bring up your stuff. You can let me know what's going on. But you can, if you want to mention, like, comment on what I just said, you can as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, the congratulations, well deserved. You know, 100K is not a small feat, and it's a huge milestone as a YouTuber. And I'm just honored to have played a small part in being part of your journey to 100K. And hopefully I'll be joining you soon in a couple years, man. So congratulations, BTC Sessions, and it's well deserved, man. We need more Bitcoin only content creators over 100,000 subscribers. There's not that many of us. There's literally a handful of Bitcoin only content creators. So it's a huge feat, and it's super well deserved. And I think it sets the tone for this this awesome post by Jimmy Song called The Maximalist Creed. It starts out and he says, "I believe in sound money, creator of civilization and prosperity, and in Bitcoin, the only true scarce asset, which was conceived by the cyberpunks, born under fiat excesses, without ruler or controller, decentralized, unconfiscatable, undebasable, secured by proof of work, audible, immutable, securable, allowing me to be self-sovereign over my wealth, borderless, open source, voluntary, permissionless, censorship-resistant, pseudonymous, giving financial freedom to the rich and poor alike." I'm going to leave it at that because it is a pretty long verse, but this is the Maximalist Creed, and I think it was very fitting to read right after celebrating Ben's 100K plaque that says BTC Sessions on it, and next comes the gold plaque for 1 million subscribers, and I think that's going to happen a lot sooner than a lot faster than it took to get to 100K.
Sneaks up on you.
How do you feel, man?
Dude, I'm stoked about it. I mean, again, 8 years. It took some time. It takes a little bit of low time preference to come in week after week and do the like. Here's how you take personal responsibility, because that doesn't build subscribers as much. But to everybody that I see in the chat that have been toughing it out with me for years, thank you guys for not only coming in week after week, but partaking, sharing, always coming in to have a word. And yeah, I appreciate it. And let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go, man. This is the best is yet to come. And it's really, really exciting times, you know, the Bitcoin bull market and, you know, as content creators too. I have a couple videos, but I'm absolutely terrified of playing them. I don't think that's going to end up very, very well, but I'm going to try this. Let me know if it works. But anyone who's tuning in, they were apparently fixing the sewage outside my house today, and they just absolutely tore the internet cable with the shovel. So let's see if this video works. Let me know, guys.
Welcome back. Take a look at Bitcoin. There it is, over 67,000. We're approaching all-time highs, Mr. Weiss.
Yep.
It's another 7%. What's behind this, other than momentums?
There's still no use
risk
case.
on.
Well, there are a few things. Momentum. You know, Kramer came out today and said he thinks it's because people trust fiat currencies less because of everybody's upside down is in debt to GDP. I don't really think that's the case. I just don't think they're that big deeper. Sure, there's a small element that believes that all economies, all sovereigns are going to hell, so they're going to hide Bitcoin. It's purely the marketing power right now of BlackRock, of Fidelity, and more to come. But to show you how ridiculous it is, Bitcoin isn't even the top foreign currency. I think Bite the Dog, or whatever the hell that currency's name, is up 400%. I mean, it's just...
So it's like, it's like a perfect storm for crypto. This particular asset class right now, between the approval of the ETFs and the biggest names in the asset management business getting into it, with some speculative fervor in parts of the market, biotech maybe here too, and overall risk on.
Complete perfect storm.
Yep.
But I think you have to look at the two products that investors really focus on. Number one, obviously, Bitcoin, which has been traditionalized with the advent of the ETFs. Here's the interesting one, and you have Bitcoin up 58%.
Right.
You have Ethereum up 57%. Ethereum doesn't have the ETF yet. So you have a lot of people who are going to own Ethereum on the belief that an ETF is coming. Is Ethereum riding the back of Bitcoin, or is Ethereum rallying on the belief that the ETF's coming? Because if it's rallying on the back of Bitcoin, then there's so much more alpha that can be generated in owning Ethereum relative to Bitcoin, because the ETF's not there yet.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but I don't think that deeply. I just think it's, sheep, being let slaughter.
Can we replay that like multiple times over the next 10 years?
Yeah, what?
I don't think that deeply.
I don't
Guys,
think that deeply.
in the control room, cut it now and save it. Send it to me so we all preserve a copy.
All right, I'm going to leave it right there. I mean, sheep getting led to the slaughter. I mean, dude, the numbers are there. I mean, is this I would make the counter argument and say that if you don't own Bitcoin, you're getting led to the slaughter. That's what I would say. That's my take. This is priced in Bitcoin. We use it all the time. And look, you see it right here. Yeah, medium house price. If you've been holding Bitcoin, it's 86% cheaper. S&P 89% cheaper. Gold 91% cheaper. Crude oil 92% cheaper. Dollar 94% cheaper. So I would flip it on him, and I would say if you're holding anything else other than Bitcoin, you're getting led to the slaughter. What's the speculative asset now? I mean, these numbers don't lie. That guy could take his ideological stance as much as he wants, but he's going to have fun staying poor, and number go up is going to do what number go up does best.
Yeah. I mean, it's you can feel the seething, this deep-seated dismay as to what's going on. And I don't know, the people that are sitting there and they just keep on ignoring what's going on, or trying to explain away like it's something, oh, it's just, it's tulips for the fourth, fifth, sixth time. It's not that. It's not that. And if you can't be humble enough to step back and re-examine your views, well, I mean, that's kind of on you, and you're going to get Bitcoin at the price that you deserve. And those that have been sitting on the sidelines for the better part of a decade and consistently keep on snuffing it, I mean, they're only really hurting themselves at this point, I think.
100%. I think they are. It seems like the connection is poor right now. I mean, the city workers absolutely. God damn it, guys, messing up the show for us. But yes, it's coming back. It's coming back. Okay, cool. We're doing.
Oh, it's coming back, and he's gone. Nonetheless, that's okay. Cool. Oh, there he is. I think he's back.
All right. What's the saying? What's the saying? We're live. Anything could happen. There we go. It's one of those. It's one of those episodes today. It's one of those episodes today.
I love you. It's coming back, and then you drop. That's okay.
Oh man, okay. I mean, dude, the episode that we're celebrating. Go ahead.
Bear market, and it's bear market vibes coming from the connection. That's all. It's still deep in your soul.
Dude, I sold my internet connection, my microphone, and my camera to buy more Bitcoin. Oh man. Oh God. Well, I mean, it is kind of fitting. Well, it's funny that we're the 100K plaque celebration episode. That's the episode that the internet goes down. Anyways, okay. In other news, Saylor continues to double down. MicroStrategy announces proposed private offering of $700 million of convertible senior notes. So what does that mean? I'll explain it in layman's term. MicroStrategy wants to borrow $600 million. They're planning to do this by selling special convertible senior notes to big investors. These bonds pay interest twice a year until they mature in 2030, at which point MicroStrategy would pay back the borrowed money. What's interesting about these bonds is that investors can choose to convert them either into cash or shares of MicroStrategy stock. This means if MicroStrategy does well and its stock price goes up, investors could make money by converting their bonds into stock. MicroStrategy might even let the first buyers of these bonds purchase an additional $90 million worth of them, by the way, which has already happened. So that $600 million mark is actually $700 million. The company plans to use the money they raise to buy more Bitcoin and for their regular business expenses. But here's the catch. These bonds won't be available to just anyone. They're only being offered to big investors who meet certain criteria. Also, because of some rules, regular people can't buy them directly. So it seems like MicroStrategy continues to speculatively attack the dollar. Like I say, they're using the fiat system. They're leveraging the fiat system to raise more money and buy more Bitcoin, which becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. MicroStrategy stock hit $1,250. That's an up from $144 when Michael Saylor started buying Bitcoin, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, that's more than a 10x, Ben, right? Absolutely crushing it. And look, here's the icing on the cake. And for anyone who has a mortgage, you might get a little bit angry right now, but take a look at the rates at which Michael Saylor is borrowing these monies at. 0.625% per annum due in 2030. Just to kind of give you guys a perspective, mortgage rates are around 3 to 7%. If you're very lucky, you got it at 2.5. Michael Saylor borrowed $700 million at 0.625%. I mean, that's free money, bro. I wish I had a Fortune 500 company to leverage to buy more Bitcoin, but Saylor is absolutely slaying it.
Dude, the fact that he can get 700 mil at 0.625 is insane. And that like 2030, like the the time horizon on that, sitting it in Bitcoin, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. If anybody is willing to lend me some cuck bucks at 0.625 that I can sink into some sats for the next 6 years, I will gladly take you up on the offer. So let me know if you're willing to do that. I'll take loans on the side here. I'll stack some sats that way. But yeah, I mean, he's smart. He's doing, in my opinion, the right thing. And like you've said in previous shows, you said it was coming, and it's here. Michael Saylor is fucking vindicated, man.
100%. This is 100% vindication for Michael Saylor's strategy, his MicroStrategy, or his Bitcoin strategy, better said. And what's really interesting, and I actually I had an opportunity to ask him this in Madeira at that party that you never went to. Ben told me, he's like, Nico, I'm at the bar. I'm like going to every single bar at this party, and I'm like, Ben, I can't find you. And then we realized that like he's at a place 30 minutes away.
I was at the pleb party. I thought it was the speaker. Whatever. I got to hang out with some cool plebs. It was great. I became an honorary node runner, like a Norwegian node runner or something like that. It was a good time. Tell Sailor I said hi. I guess I missed him.
I was ending conversations with like very like high profile pictures. Like, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go find Ben, and I'm like making laps around like the the venue and stuff. Anyways, but I asked him about this. I said, like, look, like, you've been vindicated. MicroStrategy had they're up 433% on their investment. Why haven't other public companies followed this strategy? Why haven't other billionaires followed this strategy? And he was perplexed. Like, he didn't know. He was like, I don't know. But like, I'm telling you that you can only hold the floodgates for so long. I think eventually, Bitcoin's incentives will rule the day. And I think BlackRock's, stance is a really good example of that. And just to kind of give everyone some like a point of reference, MicroStrategy owns 193,000 Bitcoin. It took them 4 years to build up that position. BlackRock owns 183,000. They're going to overtake MicroStrategy's Bitcoin position within like literally a couple days, if not tomorrow, right? So like the institutional demand is here. And it's not going anywhere, man. So it's really, really exciting from a price perspective.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time. And, while it's very exciting and number go up is great, at the same time, careful, guys. Don't sell your Bitcoin to BlackRock. You keep it self-custody. Learn how to keep that shit safe. Learn the tools. And you'll be just fine. And I know there's good people in the room. I know that there's people that have been around. There's also a ton of newcomers in the room, it would seem, because Jesus, we're sitting, Nico, this is, by the way, an all-time high for Simply Sessions. We're closing in on 1,300 live viewers right now.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. And I'm assuming it's Twitter, because the Twitter live streams have been absolutely blowing up. I don't know what Elon is doing behind the hood. But yeah, it's this is crazy, man, making all-time highs. And I'm sure it's dude, the comments are so funny. Everyone's saying that my internet was sabotaged on purpose.
Gary's after you, dude. He's coming after. Don't stop talking. It's a risky investment, and drug dealers use it. Don't touch it. It's bad.
Stop the signal. Stop the signal route. So the construction workers were like actual like FBI agents, like just like with the shovels. Like, we have to stop the signal.
It's Gary in a reflective vest.
Oh man. Bro, they knew, bro. They knew that you were gonna make the plaque announcement today, and they were like, we must stop this. This can't happen. This can't happen. Anyways, okay. So in other news, this is something that Jeff Booth said at the conference, and I think it's really, really important to hear this specifically in an election year. So it is an election year, in the United States, and I think a lot of people are distracted by, you know, the Democrats, the Republicans, Trump versus Biden, all that stuff. And I think we have to change mindsets in terms of we have to opt out of that way of thinking entirely. We have to opt out of the fiat system entirely. And because if we don't, we're just kind of feeding into it, right? So I'm going to give you kind of two perspectives. First, this is Hillary Clinton, where she says the quiet part out loud. This is a very famous video. You know, let's check it out.
And then one more area that I hope nation states start paying greater attention to is the rise of cryptocurrency, because what looks like a very interesting and somewhat exotic effort to literally mine new coins in order to trade with them has the potential for undermining currencies, for undermining the role of the dollar as the reserve currency, for destabilizing nations, perhaps starting with small ones, but going much larger. So when we think about this new environment in which we find ourselves that we've been discussing for the last some minutes, we can't just think about nation states. And then one more area.
So, I mean, like, you know, she destabilizing for who exactly? Because I've been living on a Bitcoin standard. So has Ben. So there's people around. We were, you know, we had this amazing talk before we went on air. Like, you know, things look more optimistic. Things look hopeful. Like, you know, you're, you know, and I'm sure Ben, you felt the same way. Maleda, it's like, you know, there was this awesome. Ben had a whole workshop with his logo at the back of the stadium. You know, and you have to understand, guys. Like, you know, we started YouTube channels, you know, from nothing, right? Bad microphones, bad cameras, and then to think that, you know, to get here, right? Bitcoin, I think, enables that optimism. Hard work, of course, but Bitcoin enables that optimism. Bitcoin, I think, gives you that ability to succeed, right? Because your runway just keeps getting longer, right? You know, it gives you the ability to take a little bit more risks. So when she's saying it's like undermining nation states as if she's talking about all of us, I think she's talking about herself, right?
Yeah.
Undermining her currency, but perhaps not our currency. And then this leads me to kind of read this passage from the Sovereign Individual, which we always read, but I'm going to read a different passage. So it goes on to say, new technologies will allow the holders of wealth to bypass the national monopolies that have issued and regulated money in the modern period. Their importance for controlling the world's wealth will be transcended by mathematical algorithms that have no physical existence. In the new millennium, cyber money controlled by private markets will supersede fiat money issued by governments. Now, here's the part that applies to what I was just saying just now, and what applies to what Jeff Booth is going to say in a little bit when I play you this next clip. But it basically says, genius will be unleashed, freed from both the oppression of government and the drags of racial and ethnic prejudice. By the way, when they say the oppression of government, that's inflation. That's not just like direct censorship. Like, I include inflation in there. I think inflation is a form of economic oppression on the populace. Anyways, it goes on to say, in the information society, no one who is truly able will be detained by the ill-formed opinions of others. That's to you, Hillary Clinton. It will not matter what most people on earth might think of your race, your looks, your age, or the way you wear your hair. That's for me in Sessions. In the cyber economy, they will never see you. Maybe that's not to me in Sessions. The ugly, the fat, the old, the disabled will vie with the young and beautiful on equal terms in an utterly colorblind anonymity on the new frontiers of cyberspace. Now, I want you guys to internalize that. I want you guys to internalize what Hillary Clinton said, and I want you guys to hear this clip from Jeff Booth, because I think this is what all Bitcoiners should really do. We're seeing this crazy political environment, this climate change, all these narratives, but we have to remember that we are sovereign individuals. If you're taking Bitcoin to self-custody, don't feed the system. Don't feed into, you know, the propaganda, so to speak. So I love the way that Jeff put it. Let's check it out.
So think about what happens when people march down the street, break windows, turn over cars, light cars on fires and everything else, and then go back home to sleep. Where did the money come to fix all that stuff? And it came from their actions making the system stronger. And so when you're fighting within that system, when you're yelling at your tiny little divide, whether it's climate change or political party, you're actually strengthening that entire system over you. And this is something that was, I'll talk about it on Sunday, but this is something for me that I realized that probably long after Jack realized, but I was a hypocrite in Bitcoin because I had a hedge in Bitcoin, but I was spending all my energy in the existing system. And that was a really hard moment to realize that. And as soon as I shifted all of my energy into the new system, it was just abundance everywhere, and you guys are part of it. I suspect that can't be stopped because more and more people are going to see it, and more and more people are doing the same journey that we all did. And they might be at step one of that journey, but they're all coming over eventually. And every one of those people make the existing system weaker over them. There is no system of control if you don't believe it.
So spot on. This is something that I believe, Ben, we were just talking about this. There's abundance everywhere, right? It's there. This is what happens on a Bitcoin standard, right? Those things that you might not necessarily would have believed that could have been possible, right? Those things that would have never have crossed your mind. All of a sudden, it's like there isn't it's like, what we hear, it's like there's a housing crisis. I mean, but is there a housing crisis? Because for a Bitcoiner, actually things have gotten to 89% cheaper, right? There's a housing crisis in that system that Jeff was talking about. But if you opt out, it's a system of it's abundance, man. It's opportunity, it's hope, it's optimism, right? So I think Jeff really, really hit the nail on the head in that speech that he made at Bitcoin Atlantis.
Yeah, it was, again, since switching to a Bitcoin standard in 2020, and even before, when it was just merely my savings mechanism, my life has gotten infinitely better. I'm not saying that it's not difficult to do so. There's a lot of hoops to jump through when you're living on a Bitcoin standard. There's a lot of hoops to jump through to understand why Bitcoin and why Bitcoin only specifically. There's a lot of stuff that comes with securing your own stack and not relying on third parties to hold your savings for you. There's a lot of stuff that and even just like the emotions of the ups and downs, and understanding that you have to be more cognizant of how you're using your capital when bear markets happen, because they still exist and they still happen. But the qualities that you gain from living through those things make you better off. And again, my life has never been consistently better, even through this past bear market. Having been through a couple bear markets, all of a sudden, if you can hang on, if you can learn to build those good habits because of Bitcoin, the habits that it teaches intrinsically just because of its qualities, then you will become better and more well suited for your environment, and you'll be able to kind of escape that fiat mentality that holds everybody down, because that system is it's a cancer. It just siphons away your life's work. And living on a Bitcoin standard does exactly the opposite. It magnifies your life's work, so much so that it's going to not only help you, but your children and your grandchildren and generations to come.
Beautifully said, and I 100% agree with you, man. It's
World of Rusty wants to know how many girlfriends. Many girlfriends, Rusty. Many. All of us are getting girlfriends.
All of us. It's actually in the white paper. There's actually 11 pages in the white paper, and that was actually unveiled when Adam Back exposed a lot of the emails during the Craig Wright trial. On the 11th page, it said, if you hold Bitcoin for 3 cycles, you're entitled to a girlfriend. Actually, one will come and knock on the door. So they're coming. It's
actually a smart contract, I think. It executes upon conclusion of the contract. You get a girlfriend.
Pretty sure. But unfortunately, 1 out of 10 people won't get a girlfriend. What you'll have is you'll actually have yellow show up at your house instead. I apologize in advance. Anyways, in other news, and I do want to ask you about this, Ben, because you are a YouTuber, you are a content creator based out of the USS Canada, and it's pretty crazy in terms of censorship stuff. But it goes on to say the Center for Countering Digital Hate has labeled TFTC and many other YouTube channels as purveyors of, quote, new denial that Google must punish for calling out climate hysteria. By the way, Mark Moss's channel was included as this as well. Thankfully, Simply Bitcoin or BTC Sessions isn't included yet. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty crazy, and there's some pretty well-known people here, right? So there's TFTC, there's Anthony Pompliano, there's Lex Friedman Clips, there's Blaze TV. It's crazy that, you live in a society that if you go against, the acceptable narrative, somehow, you're dangerous, which is absolutely crazy. And this is actually going into law in Canada, which I find insane. Here's Francis Pulio. He says, when/if Canada's thoughts and speech crime law come into effect, I and millions of others would be facing 5 years in jail for comments made during the COVID hysteria of 2020 to 2022. And in that law, the law is called Bill C-63, Online Harms Act. It goes on to say, it is a discriminatory practice to communicate or cause to be communicated hate speech by means of the internet. I mean, the problem with that is who defines what hate speech is, right? Like, let's say you don't like what BTC Sessions is doing, you're making tutorials of. Elizabeth Warren used her own words. Ben's teaching everyone to be sophisticated cyberpunks by taking people by showing people how to take self-custody. They could say that's a form of hate speech, right? Mm-hmm. So, I think this is kind of like a very, very dangerous precedent moving forward. And here's BJ Ditcher, who was part of the Canadian truckers protest. Mm-hmm. Look, hate crime. This is pretty serious. Potential lifetime 25 years imprisonment for online hate crimes, aka speech. So I mean, Ben, dude, when are we moving to El Salvador?
Yeah, I mean, I would be lying if I said that myself and the wifey haven't been shopping jurisdictions just a little, just as a plan B. That's been in the back of our minds for some time now, and now we're kind of looking a little bit more seriously at it. I've no immediate plans. I am in the most sane part of the country that would be the most likely to just tell the feds to go F themselves if they try to overreach like that. But it's concerning nonetheless, and it's insane to see. I grew up thinking that, younger in the 90s, it was always like the conservative side of the aisle that seemed to be trying to muzzle free speech. And, you can't watch this, we're going to censor this, that, and the other thing. So I came into adulthood assuming that's where the censorship would come from. But the reality is the censorship comes from whoever's in power, and it goes upon whoever they dislike. And so there is what's the old saying? There is no red, there is no blue, there is the state, and there is you. And that's one of the big lessons that I've learned in my life. It doesn't matter who's in power. It's just whoever's in power is going to exert that power. And so tools like Bitcoin make that less possible.
Yeah. No, the freedom tools like Bitcoin, like Nostr, freedom enabling protocols are just it's so important, especially in these moments. And here's the thing: you said you mentioned the right. In the US, there was a moment in history, during the I forget what is the McCarthy era in the 50s and 60s, where the right was actually censoring the left. So obviously the pendulum swings left and right, and what these technologies will enable is regardless of your political leanings, it allows you to talk and transact freely. I think I'm at 2 bars now.
That's all right. Wait, we got the gist of that, the McCarthyism and everything. I think you're coming back a little bit, anyways. But yeah, I mean, it's whoever's in that position is going to exert that power. You're going to get people that they rather than fight ideas with better ideas, they fight ideas with muzzling and censorship of opposing ideas. And it's a surefire way of showing who has the weaker argument when that's how they exert it. Because when you have two ideas to compare freely, people can come to their own conclusions. When you take away an idea and disallow it from being heard, then clearly there's a motive behind it. Maybe you didn't have the better idea in the first place. So it's unfortunate. All right, how's your connection now? I think you might be good. Looks decent.
Gary's allowing me to speak again, so thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. So I do want to end it with this because it is the topic of today's video. I know we're running a little bit long, but I do want to address the topic of today's video, the title of today's video, which is this idea of Bitcoin doubling very, very quickly. So in a historical sense, every time Bitcoin reaches an all-time high, it doubles in a very, very short period of time shortly after. Here's Anthony Pompliano on CNBC explaining just that. So let's check it out.
But also, as we near this record high, if we go back and we look at past record high breaks, or if we eclipse the old all-time high, 3 of the 4 times Bitcoin doubled in 18 days or less. And so if you think about that for a second, once you break through an all-time high, it's price discovery. What is this thing? The world is going to try to figure that out. And 3 of the last 4 times, in 18 days or less, it doubled in price. You add in the fact that we have the halving coming, and we're going to go from 900 Bitcoin a day coming into the supply to 450. And it's very hard to make an argument that Bitcoin is not going much higher and at a faster pace than we all expected.
I mean, when you do the math, I feel like I need to say that past results are not indicative necessarily of the future, because it just it just sounds, anyone at home would if they're totally new at this game, they might mortgage their house and put it all in Bitcoin. And there is still risk.
It's a really good idea.
I definitely don't think that they should do that, right? If you go and you ask most people in the Bitcoin world, they will tell you higher percentages than you would expect in terms of what they've put in. But I think 1 to 5% for traditional portfolio ends up making sense.
But you just made a case for going from 70 to 140 in 18 days. I mean, that sounds like things that you hear on TV where you just want to really stay away from.
Bitcoin's up 20.
So, and I'll leave it at that. And then here is kind of something similar to what Pomp was saying. The time it took Bitcoin to double after previous breaks of all-time highs: December 2020, 18 days; March 2017, 84 days; November 2013, 10 days; March 2013, 18 days. And, just kind of like breaking down the charts and all that. So, yeah, I mean, if Bitcoin follows its historical pattern, it's 3 out of 4 times it's doubled. I'm not saying it's going to do it this time, but it's just something to be aware of. What's the quote from Satoshi? It might be a good idea to get some just in case this thing catches on.
Yeah. It's. I will say, historically, like, having witnessed some of those runs, it's crazy how quickly it happens. And it comes in bursts. It's never like a slow grind up with like little blips here and there. It's like there'll be a period of a week or two where your face is getting ripped off daily, and you're like, what in the hell is happening? And then you'll get your pullback and everything. But like, when it's happening quickly. And this is why the people that get cute with this thing and just trade it are the ones that never come out on top. They might scalp some money here and there, but like, as a long-term strategy, it's horrible. Just create value for others, spend less than you earn, and save in Bitcoin. It's not a difficult thing to do. Put the fruits of your labor in something that can't be debased. As you like to say a lot, never work for money that another man can print out of thin air. It's a simple formula. And I can say, historically, having sat through, again, when we broke through all-time high for the first time, through the 2017 run, like what 1,200 to like 3K happened in the blink of an eye. And I remember later that year seeing it go from, as soon as it decisively crossed 10K, 20K happened in 2 weeks. And it seemed insane because $10,000 already sounded insane because it started the year below 1,000. It was mind numbing. I was not doing well. I had anxiety because I just didn't know how to handle that and that type of change in that period of time. And I mean, same thing, like the 2020, you see it eke above all-time high for the first time, and then like that was the longer one. It was like 80 something days for it to hit 40K, and it still seemed insane. It still seemed insane. So yeah, I mean, anything can happen, so be mentally prepared for it. But like, I don't know, my mind is still telling me to step back and not get overexcited, and to, the diminishing returns trope and all of that. Like, expect it, but also expect on the other side. And it's a good practice. NVK always says this from CoinKite. He always says, treat your Bitcoin stack as if it was 10x the value, because it might be at some point. And so, if you haven't already, start getting those security practices in place. Don't have your shit on an exchange. Don't have your shit just sitting on a hot wallet. Get yourself some hardware and maybe investigate multisig, because, things are happening fast and they can happen faster.
100%, 100%. And, historically it has happened in the past. And just to, everything, Ben, that you just said, I agree with. I'll say this, guys. If you take a look at the inflows, the other day, there was 10,000 Bitcoin by BlackRock and Fidelity. 10,000. There's only 400.
Where?
Yeah,
I think you're chopping a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I think we're chopping.
Am I
but
back?
That's okay. That's okay.
Oh my god. Okay. All right.
I think we're back.
I think we're back. Okay.
Good.
Yeah. So
okay. Fidelity,
quick.
BlackRock, inflows.
Yeah. So the inflows, right? So they bought 10,000 Bitcoin in one day. Only 900 Bitcoin being mined, and that is about to get cut in half in the halving, which is coming up in about a month, in a month and change, and that's going to lead to an epic supply shock. And I wouldn't be surprised. Ben, you just described, that run up from 10 to 20K very quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if history repeated itself. Anyways, I do want to give a very, very quick shout out. We just had a merch drop at Simply Bitcoin. We teamed up with a Bitcoin artist called, I always butcher the name, Asanoa. And this is a limited drop. Simply Bitcoin, Peaceful Revolution, a Bitcoin pill, dad hats, snapbacks, and yes, we have ladies merch. We've been hearing you guys, so we have ladies merch as well. So please, if you want to help support the Simply Bitcoin channel, go to simplybitcoin.com, check out the merch, and get yourself a hoodie, a t-shirt. Really, really, really helps the channel. Anyways, guys, this was another episode of Simply Sessions. Ben, it's always an honor. Was sabotaged today by the FBI trying to stop the signal at your 100K plaque special episode. But guys, this was your Simply Sessions. Ben, I will see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Yeah. Good to see you. And everybody, pick up that merch. I'm going to be rocking it. I'm going to be playing. I'm going to grab myself. I got to get those shirts. I already have some other Simply merch, and I need more. So anyways, but don't go anywhere. We're going to finish up with some tech updates before we finish up here. So I will be rocking some Simply merch because I want to support Nico, and he's always awesome coming on here and filling us with the latest and greatest in the news. But let's cover a few of the tech updates before we round out here. First of all, Brave Wallet finally adds Bitcoin support. I guess late is better than never, but is it though when the whole point is to support shitcoins on Bitcoin? Yes, Brave Wallet is adding Bitcoin, but mostly so that they can add BRC20 tokens and all that crap. So, an attempt was made, Brave, but no dice. No one's. This is a peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange focusing on the global south. They have now integrated Lightning deposits and withdrawals, which is awesome to see. Glad to see many various Bitcoin exchanges making sure that they are ready for this run with Lightning functionality. Anyways, so they have Lightning deposits accessible to all customers. Sendouts are available to all users. You can send out cheaper and faster. They have their own Lightning node, and its growth will show the world again how the global south uses Bitcoin as a medium of exchange, said Ray Yusuf. He is formerly from Paxful, and No One's is his new venture. So awesome for them. Mutiny Wallet app is now available on iOS and Android. I know the title here just says iOS, but it's on both. So it says, in addition to the existing progressive web app, so if you're familiar with Mutiny, you can do it from your browser and then save it to the home screen on Apple and on Android. Although there was some tricky business with Apple, we'll touch on that momentarily. They said, we built Mutiny to be unstoppable. To do that, we knew we had to first build for the web without the censorship of permissioned app stores. Today, anyone can visit app.mutinywallet.com and get self-custodial Lightning wallet that can't be shut down by Apple or Google. Now, they have had the APK file for Android available, but now it's also available on Google Play and iOS App Store release as well. So that's awesome. It's probably easier and more stable to get it via the App Store, but it works great as a progressive web app too. And the whole point is lack of censorship. So if shit ever hits the fan with your app store, you still have full access to the same functionality via a progressive web app. Kudos to Mutiny for doing that. Now, on the front of the app store for Apple, previously, because of some regulations in the EU, Apple had said that they were going to disallow the ability of people to save stuff from their browser as a progressive web app. If you don't know what a PWA is, it's basically if you have like a login or some type of app in the browser, you can hit the three dots at the top of the screen and hit save to home screen, and it opens up as an app itself that saves data natively instead of having to go to the website every single time. It opens as an app, and it gets rid of the browser bar, and it just looks like a regular functioning app on your phone. Apple was going to basically clap back to these regulations and remove that functionality from their phones, but people were raising a stink about it, and now that will no longer be the case. But always be on guard, and that's why it's important that Mutiny and people like this exist that are hedging for those potentialities. And yeah, I mean, that would have been super crappy if Apple had done that in the EU, but thankfully they are not. Moving on. Sparrow Wallet, big upgrade. If you're unfamiliar, if you're watching for the first time, Sparrow Wallet, in my opinion, hands down the best Bitcoin wallet for your desktop out there. It looks a little scary, but if you can just do the basics and then start leveling up from there, it's hands down. It's so much functionality baked into a single client. You got to get on Sparrow. Nonetheless, Sparrow, they have added a bunch of different things. PGP verifier, improved QR reading, Q1 and Safe3 support. So what does that mean? The verifier means that you can actually go and verify software releases within Sparrow itself. You can check that the signature was made by Craig Raw, the person who maintains Sparrow Wallet, and it was created by him with his PGP signature. It's great to be able to verify your software natively. Furthermore, has support for new hardware wallets, Coldcard Q1 and Trezor Safe 3. So the Safe 3 is the new version of Trezor that now has a secure element. So it's great to see support for that. But secondly, Coldcard Q1. Obviously, it had support for that already because I plugged it in and I did a video on that. And I also did it with mobile. But the update here is what's the cool new feature, or one of the cool new features on the new Coldcard? You can now use the QR scanner instead of having to plug it in. Well, Sparrow Wallet now supports that, and the whole new QR standard called BBQR, which apparently is a huge upgrade over previous versions of QR scanning. So anyways, very excited. And you know what this means? It means it's tutorial time for me. I'm going to be putting together something with that soon. And I'm going to double check, but I know Nunchuck has plans to support this too. So it'd be kind of nice to bang out a 2-in-1, just showing the cold card used on Sparrow and Nunchuck simultaneously. Anyways, awesome. Sparrow Wallet just keeps on knocking it out of the park. So kudos to Sparrow, and thanks, Craig, for all your work. Hey, U.S. Department of Commerce wants to impose KYC on cloud services and AI. This is insane. This is actually insane. The new rule would require that U.S. providers of IaaS products, including U.S. resellers, implement and maintain a written risk-based customer identification program. The CIP is a new Know Your Customer program that would consist of data collection procedures for ascertaining and verifying the identities of current and prospective customers. For many companies, the requirements extend beyond the identification information currently collected from customers. So literally, for you to use cloud services to store anything, or if you are using AI and you're trying to like train an AI client to do certain stuff for you, well, sorry, sir or ma'am, we're going to need extensive government identification from you in order to do that. Or, you know what you could do is say, fuck that noise and run your own personal server. Start9 is one example. There are plenty of examples of plug and play devices where you can run this type of shit, or just run it on your laptop. But like guys, with stuff like this, and I'm not saying that this is for sure going to get passed, but the point here is when you see the writing on the wall, when you see what people want to impose upon you, it's time to examine how you can subvert that. And the answer is running your own personal servers, running your own tools so that nobody can tell you what to do. You can download your own AI clients and tools and these language models, and you can have them just working for you. And you can get the ones that aren't full of bias, of people's political bias that they've injected into them. You can just download open source models. So this is possible. And it's scary to think that a lot of the world may just have to comply with this. And if you start training an AI model to do something that isn't in line with, whatever the pervasive political leanings of the time are, then, they could use that against you. Scary, scary times. Moving on. Shout out to Zapright. They introduced teams and organizations. So this allows you to basically, Zapright, by the way, if you don't know, I'm using it for all my stuff. When people book one-on-ones for me, when I send out invoices, all that kind of stuff, I use Zapright. It allows me to link into my own Bitcoin wallets. So they're not a third party in terms of custody of any funds. I basically link various wallets and services that I want to, so that Bitcoin goes directly to me whenever I send out any sort of an invoice or have like a payment link. And it's simply just a web page, so people can go to it and then it links directly to my own custody. Anyways, they've added this functionality so that you can have teams and organizations, so you can have multiple people logging in and utilizing this in different capacities depending on how your company or your team might operate. So it's no longer just a single person dealing with it. You can use it in the context of a company or a group, which is great. And again, these guys are killing it. If you're unfamiliar, one of the people behind this is Parker Lewis, and he's just an incredible Bitcoiner. But also John is great building here. Will. They're all doing an amazing job. Moving on, Geyser partners with Flash to introduce Nostr Wallet Connect powered recurring subscriptions. So what is this? More or less, Geyser Fund is a page where you can crowdfund via Bitcoin Lightning payments. And it's awesome. You have your landing page. I've made one previously and still there, obviously, and I get sats coming through it here and there. But what this can do is for people like content creators or just people that are working on really cool stuff, or developers or whatever, you can actually subscribe to them and say, hey, I use this person's software, or I view this person's content regularly, and I think it's worth this much. and you can basically connect a Lightning wallet that has a tool called Nostr Wallet Connect, and it will auto send a transaction at whatever interval that you like, so per month or whatever. But it's a cool way of being able to support people that build things that people care about. And yes, Rusty, I see you in the comments. You know, even if you bought your yellow plushie, I know I got mine. If you bought your yellow plushie and you're like, this was the best thing I ever got, and you just want to keep sending sats because it's so snuggly and huggable, then you can do that. And you can link it to your Nostr Wallet Connect, and off it goes via Geyser Fund. But nonetheless, you get the point. Cool thing that they're building there. And then last couple things here, Blockstream Green Wallet, their desktop, a whole new UI and UX. I have yet to play with it. I just got home last night from travel. But very, very excited to get playing with this. I've been using it more lately because I tend to use Liquid for my monthly kind of cash flow and everything before going into either Lightning for spending or going into on-chain for savings. Interested to see kind of what they have in store, but more or less, again, user experience has been simplified and streamlined with more polished, intuitive interface. Use your existing wallets for both your Bitcoin and Liquid accounts across single sig and assisted multi-sig. You have the flexibility to choose whether to combine Bitcoin and Liquid accounts or not, and thus to organize your main chain and second layer stacks as you deem fit. Simple onboarding for new Jade users, minimizing ambiguity and errors. Guys, it looks like I got another tutorial to make. Holy crap. I guess that's in the queue now. So expect videos in 2 weeks, trademark. Anyways, I did say that I just got back from travel. First of all, I hit the Bitcoin Atlantis event in Madeira. It was incredible. I've got to say, like, I'll get rid of my screen here for a sec while I'm talking. Bitcoin Atlantis was incredible. I had such an amazing time. Number one, I got to follow, which, he knocked it out of the park, but I got to follow Jack Mallers on the main stage with a 30 or 40 minute keynote. So like that was a massive honor. And the other thing that was a massive honor is this was one of the first times that an event has taken educational content and thrust it onto the main stage in front of the main audience right out the gate. Jack came out, killed it, telling people the why of Bitcoin, and then I was very, very humbled to be asked to come out and explain the how of Bitcoin. So I basically outlined the various ways that you can level up as a Bitcoiner, from beginner level all the way up to like way down the line where you're running nodes and using privacy tools and all that cool stuff. So thank you guys for having me. And they also had me run a workshop area for the entirety of the conference. And I was in there. I ran 4 workshops a day for all 3 days of the conference. And in between my workshops, there were other workshops and other panels and other educational resources put there. And I think they killed it on the education front. A few other things out of Bitcoin Atlantis. They had space for kids. People were bringing their families. They had amazing resources for kids to learn about Bitcoin and be around it. And just the island itself was unbelievable. We got there a week early and we rented a car and we just explored the hell out of it. And I gotta go back. It was something else. Now on the way home, the reason I brought this up, on the way home, I decided to have some fun in Lisbon, and I had some stickers, so I stuck them around Lisbon in Portugal, and I challenged people, hey, first people to get to my stickers and take a picture of you with them, I'll send 100,000 sats to. So I stuck 3 of them, and they all got claimed. The first one that I stuck up, 2 people got there within 6 minutes of each other. So I felt obligated to give a little secondary prize. So I get 50,000 sats to Cami, who came in 6 minutes late. And then these absolute legends hit up both of my other stickers in the evening, and they had to do some trekking to get there, but they nailed it. So yeah, shout out to everybody that was able to claim some sats for my little Portuguese Easter egg hunt there. Thank you for doing that. So anyways, I'm not done with travel. I'm packing up and I'm heading out to El Salvador for the first time to see Bitcoin country on April 1st. I'm going to be there for a week, and I'm there for the halving party, which is going to be a blast. God, it's coming quick. But I'm very excited to get down there. It should be an absolute blast. And yes, it's going to be a good time. I'm also going to get to partake in one of the Bitcoin high school graduation ceremonies. And my understanding is that I get to quiz a high school student on their Bitcoin knowledge and make sure that they're able to create a wallet, send and receive transactions, and then delete and recover said wallet, which is going to be super awesome to see. So very excited about that. Anyways, if you're going to be down in El Salvador for the halving party, please do let me know. I'm very, very excited. And I see questions popping up in the chat. I will be down, but I do fly back on the 8th. I have to be back for some family stuff, but I will be down there for a week. So perhaps I can poke around, and at least I know there's something going on in Berlin on the 8th, but we'll see. Anyways, if you're going to be down there, please do let me know. Also, if you're picking up halving party tickets, there's about a week before the tickets go up in price. I don't know exactly what the discount is, but you can use my just type BTC Sessions and you get a discount if you grab tickets. You can find the links and everything on my website, but it's bitcoinhalvingparty.com. So excited to see people there. And then shortly thereafter, within a couple of months, I will be in BTC Prague. And before that, the Canadian Bitcoin Conference. So anyways, if you're going to be hitting the Canadian Bitcoin Conference in May in Montreal, same code BTC Sessions, or BTC Prague in June, which was my favorite event of last year, then again, BTC Sessions code, and that should do the trick for you. But anyways, guys, very excited for that. It's traveling season. Gotta go to the events. It's going to be a busy year, that's for sure. So anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap up here. Tomorrow, why are we bullish? Again, there's a lot of people on here that I feel have not previously watched the shows. So if you're unfamiliar, why are we bullish? Every Friday, I get together with a group of Bitcoiners. Everybody comes with a reason for being bullish, and fills in myself, the rest of the panel, and the audience about why they're excited in and around Bitcoin. And it can be, a piece of news. It could be a new app, a new video that they watched, a personal experience, really anything. So the show kind of goes through whatever we feel that week. So it's great. I'm very excited to have Eric V. Stacks back. Kisa, who does incredible Bitcoin education spaces here on X. And then also, this dude's been making the rounds, but Financial Physics has been killing it with the videos on X lately. Again, I like a lot of his takes in and around kind of like the financial ruin that people are finding themselves in, and the underlying causes of it, and the potential solutions. So anyways, very excited for this panel. It should be a really good time. So meet us back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll be kicking it off. And I got to say, guys, I think this is an all-time high in viewership in terms of number of simultaneous viewers. We're sitting at 2,300 viewers. So if you're new here, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. It seems like it's a year of milestones for the channel. So again, I appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff really does help. And if you can, hit up the previously mentioned sponsors in the show notes down below. If you need help, you can hit me up at my website, btcsessions.ca, where you can book me for private one-on-ones if the tutorials, the extensive amount of tutorials for free on the channel, are not enough. Anyways, guys, I'm going to be wrapping up here. Thank you so much for watching and or listening if you're on the pod afterwards. And have a wonderful evening wherever you may be. I'll see you guys next time for your simply session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.